Morning, everyone. Today is day 12 of the video challenge, and today I want to talk about emotional intelligence, kind of going on to the theme that we've been talking about the last couple of days, and talking about, the second step that we need to kind of work on in order to have high emotional intelligence, and that's pausing. So yesterday we were talking about the importance of really acknowledging our feelings and our emotions and identifying where they are in our body, giving it a name, identifying what we're feeling, and allowing it to take up space and then letting it go. So today I want to talk about pausing and the importance of that. So when we're having conversations with people, whether they're positive or negative, it's really important to pause before we make a response. And the reason that is because by pausing and thinking about it, we prevent ourselves from reacting from a place of fear and insecurity. So specifically when we're having conversations that are difficult or we're getting difficult feedback from people, we can very easily, our brains work very quickly, right? And we can very easily come from a place of fear and insecurity and respond, right? Because our body takes that as a threat. Our body takes that as a fight or flight response. And our body's trying to protect us. And unfortunately, our tongue is one of the sharpest weapons that we have in our artillery. And we can do some major damage. So that's the first reason we need to pause, is because we cannot have rational thought when we're reacting in emotion. But also, when we react in emotion, we're giving whoever we're having a conversation with power. We're giving away our power, right? The best thing that anyone's ever told me is that the person that reacts the most loses. And that's so very true. Just because we pause and we collect our thoughts does not mean that we're accepting what's being said to us, that we're accepting any type of abuse or ill thought. But not everything deserves a response. And that's a thing that I'm really learning, that I don't need to change people's opinions. It's not my job to do that. The second reason why we need to pause is that listening is so important. In our society, we're very fast-paced, and I think that we learn listening is just as important as having a discussion, is speaking and having, responding. And a lot of times when we're having a conversation, in our minds are already chattering about what our response is going to be, and so we're not actively listening to what somebody has to say. And this is important because a lot of times people don't necessarily want a response. For example, sometimes I come home, from work or having a difficult conversation, and I'll have a discussion with my husband, and I'm telling him why I'm upset. And, his response is he doesn't necessarily want me to hurt, and he wants to fix it. And so he wants to give me feedback. And sometimes that feedback, for me, I end up becoming reactionary because now I'm feeling bad about my response, right? And so understanding that not everybody wants a response, they're not looking for you to fix it. Sometimes what's important is that they just need to kind of work it out. And for me, I am a type of person that works things out verbally. And so I need to talk it out, because when we talk it out and we put it out into the universe, we realize the power of those thoughts. And it allows us to work through that. And you think, wow, that wasn't an ideal response, or I can see where that person was coming from, right? We can be a little bit more understanding. Their delivery might have not been good. But it's important to be able to pause and be able to really think about it. Even when people are saying things that are very negative to us, there's always something that we can learn from it. Their delivery might not be very good, but there may be pieces in there that we can use to kind of improve it. But it does not mean that what they're saying to us is representative of our value. So for a lot of people, because we rely on external validation, we really rely on people's opinions of us in order for us to have value, for us to feel that we have value. And that's the important part, is that we can take people's constructive feedback, even if the delivery isn't good, even if the delivery is harsh, and we can look through and read between the lines and say, right, you know, this is what I can take from this, and the rest of it I can't be bothered with. Or we can take the position of, you know what, your opinion of me doesn't matter. It's not going to change who I am. I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I'm not going to make everybody happy, and that's okay, right? And that's been a big learning curve for me, is that I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay, right? And not everybody's going to like what I have to say, and that's also okay, right? And so that pause allows us to come from a more centered place, where we're really coming from our authentic self, and not from a position of attack, right? Where we're trying to hurt somebody because we feel hurt, which is a biological reaction, right? That's very primitive, but it's really not helpful. And again, not everything requires our response. Just because we don't say anything doesn't mean we're agreeing with what somebody's position is. And when people have really heated conversations about politics, this is what I think about, is that, you know, some people are right fighters, right? They don't have the capacity to listen to another person's point of view. And when we kind of evolve to a higher place, we're able to take in and listen to other people's point of view, take value from that. We may not agree with it, but we can see that person's point of view, accept it, and not trying to change their thought patterns around it. Just because I live my life a certain way does not mean it's better or right or wrong, right? And so this comes into play when we look at people who live all over the world. They have different ways of living our lives that's very different than the way we live. But that doesn't make it right or wrong just because it's different. And so everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's entitled to free speech. And when we start to listen, we learn a lot about ourselves. We're able to kind of think about what our biases are, but we're also able to check our emotions and check the things that really trigger us, so that we can do the deep healing and deep work. So pausing is very important. So I'm just going to recap. Pausing is important because we don't want to react coming from a place of fear and insecurity, because we can do a lot of damage with our tongues. And that damage is like vomiting negative energy on someone, and not everybody can clean that off and move on, and that can be quite damaging. The other thing is like, it's not an easy thing to do. I'm not saying that I'm not good at it. Certainly I have a sharp tongue, and I would say my husband gets the worst of it, probably because he's my safe space. But what's important is recognizing that we've come across harshly, that wasn't our intention, and to apologize. I mean, we're all infallible. We're not perfect beings. There's no such thing. And so owning our mistakes, coming back to people and saying, you know, that's not my intention. I didn't mean to hurt you. This is what, you know, it triggered me because this is the story that's going on in my mind when you said that, can be really helpful. So those are my thoughts for a Sunday. Anyways, I hope you're out enjoying the day. It's beautiful. I'm out on the river going for a walk, enjoying the birds chirping. So have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. In the comments, let me know how good you are at pausing. This is another step that I'm really working at, to pause and to think before I say anything, and to listen, because my brain fires really quickly, and I can be developing a response before somebody's even finished what they had to say. And that's really important, and to listen, to be able to validate what people are thinking and feeling. So in the comments below, give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and pass it along. Anyways, have a great Sunday. Bye guys.